Hi, I'm Alison McTaggart and I'm going to take you through this video on time intervals. We're going to be looking at 3 different styles of questions, working out how long it is between 2 different times, working out what time would be, for example, 3.5 hours after a given time, and then also looking at what could be 2 hours 15 minutes before a given time. Some of my examples will also include telling time from clock faces, so that's something you need to be familiar with as well as 12 and 24 hour time. Okay, so there are several different methods with time intervals, and what I've found as a teacher is that I will put a question up on the board and maybe pupils will give me 3 different ways of doing it. It just depends what you see first. But the easiest method that I try to stick to if you're struggling is to say, right, I give you a time, you write down how far it is to the next hour, how far it is to the hour you're looking for, and then how far it is from there to the actual time we're after. And then you add up the 3 different bits. It's a foolproof method that works, but I will do other ways that jump out at some pupils that put their hands up when I give the questions. So yeah, and I do know pupils do really struggle with time questions to show any kind of working. So this is what we would be kind of looking for that you're going to see on my examples. So example 1, how long is it between 4:35 p.m. and 11:25 p.m? So I will show you the foolproof method first of all. So you start at 4:35 p.m. You want to work out how far it is up to the next hour, which is 5 p.m. Then you want to work out how far it is to 11 p.m. and then to 11:25. You could, at this bit here where I've written 11 p.m, go straight to 11:25 if you're feeling a wee bit more confident, okay? So then we write down what these are all these times. So from 4:35 to 5 o'clock is 25 minutes. From 5 o'clock until 11 o'clock, now you can use your fingers to count out if you want and go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or just know that 5 to 11 is 6 hours. And then from 11 to 11:25 is another 25 minutes. And then we add these all up and you should get 6 hours 50 minutes. Now I'm not saying you have to write it out with all the bumps each time. It could be simply in your head that you go, right, to 5 o'clock is 25, to 11 o'clock is 6 hours, to 11:25 is 25 minutes. That there also counts as you working out the steps and then adding it up and getting 6 hours 50. So that's one method of doing it. I'm going to do the same question again, but I'm going to mention a way that some other pupils think about it. Some of my pupils will say, well, I do 4:35 and I go straight up to 11:35. And they say, right, 4:35 to 11:35 is 7 hours. But I've gone, at this time here, I've gone 10 minutes too far. So they have to count back 10 minutes. So they go, take away 10 minutes and say the answer is 6 hours 50. Now, those pupils really struggle to show some working, but it's a perfectly valid method. Count on, say, well, the minutes are pretty similar. It's exactly 7 hours, go back 10 minutes is 6 hours 50. So that might be a way that works. My second example, I want to know how long it is from 10:05 to 5:15. So I'm going to use that method that we wrote down, up to the hour, up to the next hour, up to the minutes. So we're going to go from 10:05 and we're going to go up to 11 a.m. And then we're going to go to 5 p.m. and then we're going to go to 5:15. So writing all them down, from 10:05 to 11 a.m. would be 55 minutes. From 11 to 5 would be, well, 12 would be 1 hour plus another 5 would be 6 hours. And from 5 to 5:15 would be 15 minutes. Now when you add them all up, you get 6 hours and 70 minutes. Now 70 minutes is over an hour, that's really an hour 10. So that becomes 7 hours and 10 minutes for our final answer. And then I'll show you the method that some of the other pupils might see. They might say, right, well, hold on. 10:05 to 5:05 is exactly 7 hours. And then think, right, and I need to go up to 5:15, which is another 10 minutes. also gives you 7 hours 10 minutes. There is no right or wrong way of doing this, all right? Just depending on the question, you might think the red way I'm doing it is a wee bit quicker, but see the method I'm doing in blue, that is your foolproof one. That's your fallback one on, all right? And that's the first one I always teach to pupils before I say, did anyone do it another way? Right, my third example, I'd like to look at this one straight away because the minutes are not nice numbers. They don't end in 5, so it's not as easy to do. It's also in 24-hour time. If you don't like the 24-hour time, remember you can turn it back to 12-hour time first. It shouldn't make a difference to your answer, but we're going to keep following that method. So the first method, the foolproof method, we're going to go from 1438 to the next hour, which is 1500 hours. And then we're going to go to 1800 hours. And then we're going to go to 1822. And then we'll write down what each bit is. So from 38 minutes past up to the 60 at the top of the clock, that's 22 minutes. From 1500 to 1800 is 3 hours. And then we've got another 22 minutes there. So our total time is 3 hours and 44 minutes. Again, just to show you another method that some pupils might do is they might say, okay, 1438 until 1838 is exactly 4 hours. But 1838, you do 38 take away 12. I've gone 16 minutes too far. So we need to take away 16 minutes. It gives you 3 hours 44 again. I don't particularly like that method as much when it comes to not so easy times. So there are 3 different styles of time interval questions. Okay, so this is a different style question altogether. It's asking what is 3 hours 40 minutes on from the time shown on the clock. So first things first, I haven't said whether this is AM or PM, so let's just make it PM, okay? What you could be asked this for is this could be you've been at the cinema, this is the length of a film, when will you come out? You could be on a journey, this is when you set off, this is how long the flight is, when will your flight land, something like that tagged on the end of a speed distance time. So we need to start with the time that's on the clock. Now that's 7:45, which you would write as 7:45. Okay, so we're at 7:45 PM. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add on the 3 hours. So adding on 3 hours takes you to 10:45 PM. Now I know adding on 15 minutes takes me to 11 PM. But I had to add on 40 minutes, which means 40 take away 15 is 25. So I've got another 25 minutes to go, which gives me 11:25 PM for my final answer. Now again, please remember there's always more than one way to do it. Some pupils may prefer to say, right, 7:45, let's round that up to 4 hours and add on 4 hours to give them 11:45. And then they might say, well, when I rounded up, I went 20 minutes too far. And then they might take away 20 minutes and say, right, that's 11:25. So you can add on too much and then come back as well. So again, 2 methods. Okay, similar to the last one, I've got this question here. I'm going to make it PM again. I haven't told you which one to use. So what time is 2 hours 25 minutes before the time shown? So this could be asked with a speed distance time question again. It could be saying, right, you need to get to the airport 2 hours 25 before your flight. What time must you set off? Something like that. So we need to go backwards this time. So the clock time shows the big hand's at 10 past and 5. So this shows me 10 past 5. So 5:10 PM. Now I need to work backwards 2 hours 25. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take away the 2 hours, which takes me to 10 past 3. Now I know from here, if I take off 10 minutes, that takes me to 3 PM. But I needed to take off 25. So 25 minus 10 is 15. So I need to take off another 15 minutes, which takes me to 2:45 PM for my answer. So I'm going to arrive at 2:45 PM. And the other method, I don't like it so much for this one as I did for the previous example, is instead of 2 hours 25, you could round that up to 3 hours and do 10 past 5, take away 3 hours, which is 10 past 2. But by taking away 3 hours, you've gone 35 minutes too far. So add on 35 minutes, takes you to 2:45 as well. And that's a tricky thing with time. There is more than one way. But the way I've been showing you each one in blue is the kind of foolproof method, taking it bit by bit. Alright now, and I know you might not always want to show the working, but the working is what the steps would be in your head. That's what I'm trying to get across. So this is a point where you might want to pause the video and try some for yourself. Questions 11 to 16 are the working forwards and backwards, so you've got 3 of each there. Okay, so just be aware of the wording. You've got some after and some before. The other ones are your time intervals. And then if you press play again, you'll see the answers. So that's the answers if you want to check them.